afternoon. My name is Jordan Odom, and I wanted to tell you about a book that I've recently read. I want to explain to you, first of all, what the author tried to explain to the reader, and then what I have received and gleaned from the reader as reading the book. Again, my name is Jordan Odom. This book here is The Leadership Paradox by Denny Gunderson, and I wanted to read his intro so you know where he comes from. So, gives context for his authority to speak on this. Thought it was in the front of the book, might be in the back. About the author. Okay, Denny Gunderson is a practicing psychotherapist and pastor currently living in the Seattle area. He served as a leader in Youth with a Mission for many years, including 7 years as the North American Regional Director. Denny holds a master's degree in counseling from Western Seminary in Portland, Oregon. So, again, the book is Leadership Paradox, and the author tries to ask a few questions. What is the key to effective leadership? The ability to organize and take charge, the ability to preach and teach, entrepreneurial skill, a charismatic personality. According to Jesus, he says, none of the above. In this book, I've learned a lot about discipleship and leadership, and they are really one and the same. As you lead people, you are discipling them by your actions. Jesus obviously gives us a perfect model for this. He demonstrated so many actions in front of his disciples. He was leading them the entire time, but he was also discipling them the entire time. Roughly about the 3 years the 12 were with him, he gave demonstrations of what it means to put someone else above yourself. Consider yourself to be the servant in a situation. The best example that I have really learned a lot from in Denny's book and just from Scripture in general is when Jesus entered the room with a servant's towel around his waist. He then went to the part of the room where they would keep the bowl or basin of water. He went to each of his disciples and washed their feet. He would unwrap the towel from his waist and bend down, dip possibly a small cup and run that over the disciples' feet and wash them. Now, many of you probably know that this was a common thing to do as a hospitality act towards your guest in your home. You were inviting someone into your home, and they many times have been walking a long distance to get to your home. Everyone wore sandals, and their feet were just the most disgusting thing, part of their body, because they were walking in the dirt and the sand all day. Many of the animals, of course, at that time are on the road, and there's animal feces all over the place, and people's feet were just very gross and disgusting. So there were hired servants or slaves, unhired help, that would do this job. Now, Jesus said in Mark 10:42-45, he called them together and said, if anyone wants to become great among you, he must become your servant. And if anyone wants to be first, he must become your slave. So that tells us just a picture of what it means to be a servant and what it means if we want to aspire just to be great. So many people will seek a position and find say a stroke of ego-ness by a position, and when they get up in front of people and teach, and when people have their eyes on them, that's what matters. But what Jesus gives an example of is he does nothing outside the will of the Father. He really seeks to do things that his Father will see him doing, not which everyone else will see him doing. Many times when he healed people, he told them not to tell anyone about it. We find this as maybe backwards thinking to really how we would do it. If I was Jesus, well, I would be really effective, and I would have done things differently. But he was perfectly good in everything that he did, and he did not make any mistakes. And so Jesus really depicts just a fine example, the perfect example of what leadership and discipleship is, and servanthood. So this book goes into depth with the stories of Jesus, how he served and discipled and just trained the 12 apostles, and also just his interactions with the lowly people. Just how we see that as backwards. Jesus said, no, this is the way. So even today, the things that you feel that are backwards, the thing that you feel against your human nature, you have to go against that, because it was the same way for the apostles, the disciples. It's going to be the same way for you. You have to go against what you naturally think. You have to be the servant. You have to become, if you want to become the greatest, you have to be the servant of all. If you want to be first, you must be the slave of all. That's what, read it in Mark 10:42. So even as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve. And he gave his life as a ransom for many. So this idea of Jesus becoming a servant unto us and giving his life as a ransom for many, said there's no greater love than a man would give his own life for his friends. Every day, give your life for those around you. Every day, serve the ones around you. God is the one that matters, who sees what you're doing, not the people around you. Do not seek a position, seek servanthood. Thank you.